I'm going to start recording so I don't forget. Okay. So I'm just going to throw out a couple, just real quick. Mackenzie Bush, what campus are you from? Mercedes. Are you here? Mercedes, what campus are you from?
Pensacola.
Okay. What about Chantel Lucy? What campus are you from?
Pensacola.
How about Armani?
Centerville.
Centerville. Okay. What about Kiasha? Is that how you say your name?
Yes, it's Kiesha. I'm
Kiesha.
from
Okay.
Cincinnati Forters.
Cincinnati. Awesome. So if you haven't already, put your name and your campus in the chat. That'd be great. I have a couple of iPhone, but I don't know who they are. I have somebody in a car with an iPhone.
Yes,
and
that's
hi.
me. Emma,
And-
hi, that's me.
Hi. And what is your name?
Emma Coffee.
Say that again.
Emma,
Emma.
Emma, yes.
How do you spell your last name?
Coffee, Koffi.
Okay. Oh, okay. There you are. And what campus are you from?
Centerville.
Centerville. Okay. And then Constance Foster.
Yes.
Hi. Welcome.
Hi.
Where are you from?
Pensacola.
Pensacola. Okay. Let's see. James. Hey, James. Looks like you're from Pensacola too. Thank you. Okay. Kiana. Didn't get you. Kiana. Did I just see a Kiana Hawkins? Oh. Constance, you're not driving, right? You're a passenger, right?
I'm a passenger.
Okay.
No, I'm
And-
not driving.
And you're not driving either, Emma. Okay.
No.
All right. Okay. And then I need everybody to turn their cameras on, please. Danielle, Tawanda. Dikshaya, were you in my Monday class?
No, Professor Marvel, I was never your student, but you did proctor our class a couple of times last quarter.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I
that's probably how
recognize
you remember me.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yep. And then I have a couple of cameras pointing to the ceiling. If you could, I'm not really a stickler for this, but I'm just trying to follow. If you could just put the camera on you, that would be great. Hi, Leslie.
Hello,
Hey, what's your last? Oh, there you are. What campus are you from?
I'm from the one in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Awesome. And then Mackenzie, if you could turn your camera on, that would be great. And let me know what campus you're from, Mackenzie.
Centerville.
Centerville. Thanks. And then Keisha, if you could turn your camera on, that'd be great. Thank you. And then are you in a car or?
Yes, I'm almost to my location.
Okay. So you're driving. Okay. Why don't you,
I'm not pull over.
okay, okay. All right, that'd be great. And then Erica, if you could turn your camera on, please, that'd be awesome. Thank you. And Erica, what campus are you from?
Pensacola.
Centerville.
Are you saying Erica? I'm sorry.
Oh, Erica. No, that was Erica. I have you. Yep. And Erica, you're Pensacola, right?
No, Centerville.
Centerville. Erica, Centerville. All right. Let's see. I know I have a Brittany. Brittany, I missed you. What campus are you from?
Centerville.
Centerville.
Very first bath. Now, guys, Neil's only interacted with water when I
Okay.
washed my hands.
Jessica, you just came on. Hi, Jessica.
Years ago,
Hello.
But guys,
Hey, what campus are you from, Jessica?
Pensacola
first, very
campus.
first bath.
Where?
Pensacola.
Pensacola.
Remote.
Okay, so if we have some background noise here, if you could mute yourself, that would be great. Okay, so it's 10 after, so let's at least get started. And for those of you that have come in a little bit late, I need everybody, we have 2 combined classes here. I need everybody to put their name and their campus in the chat. And if you need to mute yourself, please do. There's a lot of background noise. So that's how I take attendance. So right off the bat, please put your name in the chat. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a message from me, especially these first couple of weeks trying to get to know everybody. You're going to end up with a message from me if I don't have you in the chat saying you weren't in class. And so you may have been in class, but this is the way I take attendance. It just alleviates any issues of I was there, I wasn't there, I signed in, I didn't sign in. So let's just take a moment right now, if you haven't done, and put your name in the chat. Everybody. I'm just going to call out a few names to see if I missed you guys. Stacy, Kadisha, Kiana Hawkins. If you're here, let me know. Okay. Saraswati. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Marguerite. Mehul. Kendall Taylor, Latrice Watson, Chantel Williams. Anybody? Any of you guys here? Lakia. Charday. Sonia. Jordan. Okay. Who just came in?
Sanye is here.
Oh, wait, who is?
Sanye, S-O-N-J-A.
Talbot? Sonia,
Yes.
Okay, what campus are you from?
Centerville.
Awesome, welcome.
Thank
And then who just came in? Teresa, is it Teresa? Oh, somebody just came in.
I'm Kendall Taylor. I'm here.
Kendall, you're here.
Yes, ma'am.
Ready. Awesome, what campus are you from?
I'm from the Pensacola campus.
Pensacola. Okay, awesome. So names should be in the chat. That's great. So welcome, everybody. I know it's Friday afternoon. It's probably been a very long week. I really understand that it's been a hectic week, but we're in the home stretch now. So we are going to have 2 combined classes. Okay, there's 2 classes that are taught at this time. And as of yesterday, I picked up section 1, which was previously Professor Bailey's class. So I sent you guys out an announcement last night, correct? Did everybody get it? At least of Professor Bailey's? That I am your new instructor. And I also have my own section at this time, so we're going to combine them. So we'll have two sections here, section 1 and section 4. And it looks like lots of campuses: Centerville, Pensacola, Cincinnati. I have a Norfolk student. So those will be our campuses. So I love having a mixture of lots of different campuses. Okay. I am Professor Marvel, Kathleen Marvel. I have been at Fortis for about 2 years now. I teach primarily, I have taught primarily in the RN community program. And last term I came down to the PN program, although I'm still teaching 2 classes in the RN program as well. But I'm the new course lead for PN community and have these 2 sections. Okay, we have a total of 6 sections and 3 instructors. It's myself, Dr. Kershaw, and Dr. Ford. We each have 2 sections. Okay, so does anybody have any questions from Professor Bailey's class? In the announcement I sent last night, if you had reached out to her for anything this week, you need to forward that on to me. Did you guys get that message? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, so if you were having any issues this week with anything and those issues haven't been resolved, you got to send them on to me. Okay, so I'm happy to have all you guys together in 2 sections. Welcome to community. Anybody have any, today I'm going to do the orientation PowerPoint, which I know you've heard this week in your other classes, but I need to do it. Just want to confirm, are most of you taking peds and med-surg too as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any classes before this class or after this class, right after? Or right before?
Yes.
Right. We have peds.
Are you coming from peds or are you going to peds?
Going to peds.
Going to pin too.
Going to peds. All right. Awesome.
He'd end up exactly where I did, against the hill.
Okay.
Paint job.
So I will try and we'll get out. We'll get out a little bit early, so I give you guys a break before you get to peds. Okay. And if we could just everybody mute themselves so we eliminate the background noise, that'd be great. Okay, and again, I need cameras on. It's just part of the rules. So I have a couple of students that don't have their cameras on. If you guys could turn your cameras on. Thank you. Okay, Sia, thank you. Okay. So I'm just trying to clean everything up. In Professor Bailey's class, I uploaded all my instructor information into it last night, into the section, and put in due dates for assignments. I haven't got to all the attestations, but I think I got through the first 3 weeks. But all your due dates are in there. So I tried to clean that up last evening. So welcome to concepts of community-based practice. So today we're going to cover the orientation PowerPoint first, and then we're going to go to the module and go through the shell in case you have any questions. Does anybody have any burning questions right now about this class? What do you know? What have you heard about this class? What do you know about this
Are we
class?
taking a specialty exam?
Yeah. Yep, you take a specialty exam at the end. Yep. Yep, so there's 3 exams and Hessy. And we'll go over that in the syllabus. So your key graded assessments are 3 exams, which are worth 55%. And then you have 5 quizzes, which are worth 5%. That gets you to 60. And then your Hessy is 20%. So that gets you to 80. And then the same 20% is like it is in all your other classes, right? That's all your homework and your assignments and everything. And we all know at this point, you guys are in term 4, is that correct? For the most part?
Yes.
And you only have how many more to go? 2?
One.
One.
So 1 after this.
One after this one.
Right.
Yes.
So why do you think we do community at the end?
Even the brand name. And for routine.
Not sure.
Because the community is
He's dealing with
Yeah.
everything.
I'm just sorry. I just need to make sure everybody's muted because we can't hear anything. Thanks, whoever muted. Okay, say that again. Why do we do community the second to last term?
because it incorporates everything that we've learned, gerontology, maternity. It's the community around us.
Erica is spot on. Thanks, Erica. That's exactly why we do it at the end, because this is where we're pulling everything together. Okay? We're pulling everything together. And again, if everybody could just please turn their cameras on. I don't want to keep saying it. Just turn your cameras on, please. Okay? So we bring everything together, right? I need you to step out of your pediatric clinical, your med-surg clinical, and we're going to step into community. Okay? This is where we bring all of our tools together. Okay? Community nursing is tough. Okay? Meaning that the expectation of the bringing forth all this knowledge is critical. So we're bringing in fundamentals, pharmacology, your med-surg 1, your maternity, we're doing peds and med-surg 2, and you'll notice that in your study guides and in your readings, a lot of the content of this class is med-surg focused, med-surg and peds. So this is where you have to bring everything together. Okay, if you think about community, we are taking care of anybody and everybody across the entire lifespan, right? You could be taking care of infants all the way up to geriatric patients. You can be taking care of, we consider our clients in the community setting individuals. We consider them families. So you may be taking care of an individual, a family unit, a subset of the population in the community, say the homeless or the substance abuse, or the teen pregnancy clients. So it could be an individual, it could be a family, it could be a subset, or it could be the whole community. All right. So I always start my first week by asking you to just put all those hats, take all those hats off of your inpatient, hospital, clinical, take all that off, because now you're out in the community. So picture yourself, you're going to pick up and move to a different state, okay? Because you've been hired as a community nurse, right? Or you're going to be a community nurse in a place you don't know anything about. So as you step into that role, how do you get to know your community? What do they need? What are their health risks? What education do they need? What kind of population is it? What barriers do they have? All right, so we're going to just pick apart all of what it takes to work in the community. And irregardless if you work in the community or not, you're going to be interacting with community people, community staff, whether you're discharging a patient from the hospital back to home, right? Or whether you're admitting a patient to the hospital from home, right? Community is just kind of the big picture, right? And that's why we're bringing all your other classes together. All right, think of all the different kinds of interactions you have in your community. Think of your own community. Think of your own zip code. Do you guys know about the public health department? Do you know who does your epidemiology screening in the public health department? Do you know what your community is made up of? Do you know the demographics? Do you know who your vulnerable populations are? That's a word you're going to hear over and over again for the next 10 weeks is vulnerable populations, right? We all live in in our own communities that we live in. We all have vulnerable populations in that community. Do we not? Okay, we do. We do. And we have threats of vulnerable populations, homeless, poverty. What else we have? We have teen pregnancy, we have substance abuse, we have mental health issues, we have HIV, we have, what are other vulnerable populations are in your community? Elderly.
Illnesses,
What?
chronic illness.
Chronic illness. Perfect. Yeah. So every community is full of health needs, vulnerable populations, and that's what we're going to learn to do is how to assess your community and find out what they need. Okay. What kinds of roles do you think are in the community? I'll start out. I'm about to come up on 40 years of nursing experience. I started out in the military, was a Navy nurse, and then went into the hospital setting, worked the women's and children's areas before I became director of women's and children's services. So I worked with NICU, PICU, OB, neonates, L&D. And then I did that for 15 years, and I just retired last year from the schools. I did 20 years in school nursing. School nursing is a community nurse role. Okay, so I, as a school nurse, was a community nurse. What other kinds of nurses are in the community besides a school nurse?
Home health nurses.
Home health nurse.
Jerry.
Geriatric nurse.
Hospice
nurse.
and hospice
medicine.
What?
Dialysis.
Dialysis nurse, immunization nurse, vaccination nurse, public health nurse, occupational nurse that works in the work settings, environmental nurse. I mean, so there's tons of different roles that we as nurses play in the community. Okay, whether you're an RN, LPN, doesn't matter. There's lots of roles. There's lots of ground to cover in the community, right? Because we have no idea who we're going to be taking care of. Right? So that's why all your tools come together. Your previous knowledge and tools come together in this class. Community health, public health has really been elevated over the last 2.5 years with the pandemic. My last 2 years as a school nurse, I was essentially a COVID nurse, right? So I went from a school nurse to a public health nurse real quickly. But the role of the community nurse has really skyrocketed the exposure, right, during this pandemic, because most of it has been public health focused, right? So what have you heard about this class? What do you know about this class? Anybody, you guys excited to take this class? I will say that you need this class to pass. Okay, you need this class to move on. So don't blow off this class, okay? It's a pretty easy class, all right? And I say easy, meaning if you keep up, you're going to be fine. If you come to lecture, you're going to be fine. If you do your assignments on time, you're going to be fine. If you use your study guides for your exams, you'll be fine. If you do your readings, you'll be fine. If you just keep up, okay? Do not get behind in this class, because it will take you the whole term to catch up, and then you'll be stressed out about med surg and peds. All right, so please, I implore you to just and it's hard having a Friday class. That's the other thing. You really have to pay attention to my announcement the weekend prior, because it tells you what you have to do. Like, for example, you guys have a discussion question that was due on Wednesday, right? I put this in the announcement. Right? Your initial response was due Wednesday. I got some, but I didn't get a lot, and there's grace for this first week. All right. So because we don't meet on Friday, doesn't mean we have to wait to meet before you turn stuff in. So week 1 was a discussion question, and right in your module, it said Wednesday night is the initial post, right? And then by Sunday, you give your 2 peer responses, and you guys know what discussion questions are. I know you do. So I probably have less than half of the initial posts for the discussion question. So next week, those will be considered late or 0. But this week there's grace. Okay, so for those of you that didn't turn it in by Wednesday night, a week from now, because next week is a discussion question too, and we'll go over this in the late late policy is if you don't contact me that you're going to be late, then it's an automatic 0. You don't even get the grace period of the 1 to 7 days. And that's all it's in your syllabus. It's in the PowerPoint, right? So half of you would have ended up with a 0 on this first discussion question. So the one thing I want to say about me is I am super, super, super easy to work with. I mean, beyond super easy to work with. I will give as much flexibility to you guys as I can. Okay, there's a few things I can't be flexible on, which one is the late work, without contacting me, the exams. There's just certain things that it's just the Fortis protocol. I can't be flexible, but I will work with you however I can. Okay, but the one thing you have to do is you've got to communicate with me. You have to communicate with me if something is going on that is impeding your ability to be successful in this class. Okay, you have got to let me know. Okay, because I will work with you. I will work with you to turn in assignments late. I will work with you, you know, to change the date of an exam if it's an emergency and it's a one-off. Right? We can't do this every week, but I realize emergencies come up. But you can't reschedule an exam because you have to work. You know, these have to be emergencies. Okay, I'm more than happy to work with you. I want to get over the finish line with everybody. This is not a class you should fail. It's just not. Okay, everything is all lined up for you. Okay, we do the study guides for the exams based on the readings, based on the lectures, everything in the study guide you've already heard. It's a nice summary of what we've gone on and what's going to be covered on the exam. All right, so you have all the tools right in front of you. If you don't spend the time in this class, and it's not that much time, certainly less than P's and Med-Surg. And what I told my group the other day is just block out some time in the beginning of the week. Get your community assignment done. Get it done, and you're done for the week. And you can focus on Med-Surg and Peds. Once you get behind, there's just too little KGAs to catch up. And I'm just speaking on experience from the last 8 terms. It really does you no good to fall behind in this class. Okay? I'm just being brutally, brutally honest. Just set aside some time for community. Get it done. We'll do our attestations. I like to do attestations at the end of class. Okay, so that we all get it done together. We do it together. And you guys can submit it at the end of class and it's done. And then I try and get done a little bit early so that you can work on assignments. You know, so for those that haven't done your discussion, if we get done a half an hour early, go back and work on your discussion. Question for this week. Don't wait till Sunday night at 10 o'clock to be doing community stuff. Don't. Okay, please. I mean, I would ask you to just sit back and enjoy this class. It brings everything together of what you've learned. It really does. And I think you'll learn a lot. We'll go through the syllabus and see all the different topics we cover. Okay, could everybody turn their cameras on, please? Please. I have 2 pages of students, so I don't want to keep going back and forth to not looking at people's names. Okay. So that's a little bit about me. Again, I'll meet you halfway. I'll do whatever I can do to support you guys to pass this class. Okay, it's not hard. It's not. Just keep up. Okay, what questions does anybody have before we go in to do this orientation PowerPoint? I know everybody is well, actually not. If you guys are going, pardon me, going to PEDS, then that means your PEDS instructor is going to do this PowerPoint with you. Have you seen the PowerPoint in Med-Surg? If you already had Med-Surg this week? Yes, no.
Yes, but we
yes.
didn't see any PowerPoint in my class anyway.
Okay, all right. So we'll go through the PowerPoint. This is a standard PowerPoint that every class should be going through. I customized a little bit of it to our PN community, and then we'll go through the syllabus. Okay, so we'll do that. I sent you guys a copy of this orientation PowerPoint that we're going to go through. I sent that to you earlier in the week. Okay, so if you have any, if I go through go through a slide too quick, and you want to go back and review it, you have the PowerPoint. Okay, has everybody seen the PowerPoint in your announcements?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So you have that for your reference, okay? All right, I'm going to share my screen. I am recording. And before I start the PowerPoint, if anybody has not put their name and campus in the chat, this is the time to do it. That's how I do attendance. Okay, let me share my screen. And let's go to a PowerPoint. Okay, everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And anybody can come off mute at any time if they want me to stop and explain something in more detail. Okay. You guys are one semester away, so you know what online learning is, right? You got to have good internet access. You have to have good communication with me to keep me up to date and make sure that you're going to be successful in this course. I can't help you if I don't know what's going on. Okay, the class includes homework assignments. Part of what we're going to do this term is not this week, but this term is we'll spend the first hour on lecture on content, and then the other hour we're going to do learning activities, whether that's a Kahoot or going over case studies or maybe even doing your quizzes together. I might do that for the weeks we have quizzes that break out into some breakout rooms, and you guys can answer your quiz questions and then come back and present them to the class. So the second hour of the class is going to be activities that you all are going to participate in. Okay. Sorry. So as it's been all the way through your program, the first person to contact would be me, your instructor, for any questions with computer access, gradings, grades, anything about the course, you contact me. I'll do my best to help you. Okay, I will get you to the right place for resources. I may refer you back to student resources. A lot of the questions students ask me can be found right in their student resources in your shelves. So if you have any questions regarding your sims, labs, clinicals, I cannot answer that. All right, you'll have to go back to your campus instructor, your campus dean. Okay, and then since I'm the course lead for this, if I can't answer something for you, if I can't answer something for you, I will contact Dean Brown. Okay, and I will get Dean Brown's help. Okay, please take this contact information below and put it somewhere. All right, it's my email address. It's also in the announcements. It's also on my instructor page. That's my information. Dean Brown's information is here. And Dean Brown's information is also on the bottom of my instructor page. Okay, so me as your instructor, first line of contact, I'm available however you want to contact me. Email, Canvas messaging, and phone. Okay, you all have my phone. You can shoot me a text. You can give me a call. If you're going to shoot me a text, just identify who you are. That would be great. You can email me through Canvas. I get my Canvas emails on my phone. Actually, I get both emails on my phone. So I am very responsible with my timeliness of my responses. I will get back to you. I can't say immediately, but I will get back to you quickly. You won't have to wait 1 or 2 days to hear back from me. You can call me at any time. You know, if it's too early in the morning or too late at night, I'll just leave a message and I'll return your call. I think most of you are on East Coast time. A couple of campuses might be on Central time. Cincinnati Central time? Or is that East Coast?
That's Eastern.
It is, okay. What about Centerville?
I think that's Eastern too.
Oh, so everybody, I think everybody's on Eastern. So I might, in Norfolk's on Eastern. I might be the only one on Central Time. So I'm on Central. So I'm an hour before you guys. So for,
Central time too.
pardon me?
Pensacola is Central time
Yeah.
too.
Oh, Pensacola Central Time? You're right.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
is. Yes, it is. Okay. Pensacola Central Time. How are y'all doing down there from that hurricane?
So far, so good. Well, the school is not close to where the hurricane was, so
Right.
it wasn't that bad.
My
that area.
parents live in Fort Myers.
Wow. How are they?
They're doing okay. They weren't there yet. They do the 6th. They're from the Northeast. They were coming down in a couple of weeks. They're not coming down anymore. They're
I can
coming.
imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go down and pack up their stuff and send it home. Yeah, their place got wiped out. So anyway, yeah, well, I hope everybody from down that area is safe. I've got several students who don't have their cameras on. I've got 10 students who don't have their cameras on. I really need you to turn your cameras on. Let's see, online courses, a professional setting, communication, be respectful at all times. I sent you guys out in one of the earlier announcements, etiquette. Please take a look at that for etiquette. I don't really want anybody taking exams in bed under the covers. I can't do that. We can't do that. You got to have proper etiquette as if you were going into a classroom. Okay, so please read the etiquette as well. Let's see, you guys all know this. This is when courses start and end, Mondays and Sundays. Right, there are a couple of assignments due on Wednesdays. For you guys, it's the first couple of weeks 1 and 2 with the discussion questions, right? Your initial posts are due on Wednesday. Okay, and this was posted all in the announcement from last Saturday or Sunday, whenever I posted it. And then your peer responses are due on Sunday. Your group project, you have one group project due in week 7, I believe. It's the infectious disease group project. The initial paper is due on Wednesday night, so that your teammates have a chance to review it and can respond. So you'll have 3 Wednesday assignments, week 1, which is already passed, so week 2, week 7. Okay.
How do our groups?
I'll make up groups. Send them. You don't have an assignment until week 7, so I won't bombard you with that just yet. Probably
Will
send
it'll be people from the same campus, I
No.
assume?
Not necessarily. Because this is an online class and you're communicating through email, right? And I like to mix it up and have you work with students from other campuses. I mean, if you have a special request that you want to work with certain people, you can certainly send that to me. But yeah, I like people to work with other campuses. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, this is one of the slides I cannot be flexible with. Okay. Late work is only accepted with number 1, you've got to let me know. Okay, I have a lot of students to keep track of, right? I teach in 4 different sections and it's a lot to keep track of. So number 1, is if you're going to be late, you have got to let me know. Okay, I'll work with you. I'll work with you. Okay, so prior approval is key. All right, and then if we agree to extend extend it, then you will have 1 week to submit it. And this is the same with all your classes. This is the standard policy, right? 1 to 7 days. And that will come with a 10% deduction. That's automatic. Okay, but so for example, this past yesterday morning, okay, if this was next week, here's what I do on Thursday mornings and Monday mornings, and this is just part of my organization. I go in on a Thursday morning if you had something due on Wednesday night, like your initial discussion post. If I haven't heard from you and you haven't submitted it, it's an automatic 0. You don't even get the 1 to 7 days. Okay, so like Monday morning, I'll go in and make sure your discussions are there and your 2 peer responses. If there's nothing submitted Monday morning and I haven't heard from you, it's an automatic 0. If I've heard from you and we have an agreement, that's great. And then when you turn it in, you have a week to turn it in and we'll just have the 10% deduction. Does anybody have any questions about that or need clarification? And this is the way it is. It should have been, and this is the way it is, should be in all the classes. Okay, again, I'm flexible as far as I can be, but communication is key with me. Okay, we need 2 attendance submissions a week. So you need 2 submissions a week. Okay, so attestations are always 1. That's an easy one. That's 1. The other one comes from an assignment. Okay, whether they're NCLEX questions, case studies, papers, discussion boards, exams, that's your second. Okay, so I only mention that because be careful when working forward. All right, so if you decide you're going to, because you have to have 2 every week, 2 submissions. And again, your attestation is always counted as 1, but don't work forward too much. For example, let's say you this weekend, you do all your 4 NCLEX assignments, which I wouldn't encourage because each week you have an NCLEX assignment, it goes along with the content we're covering. But if you decide you want to work ahead and do your NCLEX, don't submit them till the week they're due. Okay? Because if you don't have 2 submissions in 1 week, it counts as not attend. You haven't attended class. Okay, and then anyone who's hasn't posted attendance in 14 days is automatically dropped. That's not new. Keep in mind, pardon me, not documented, not done. That just goes along with nursing in general. All right. So if you're not documenting things like, for example, if you're not putting your name in the chat today and you're here, you don't get credit for it. Well, I mean, I'll send you an email and you'll say, I was here. And then I'm going to remind you, please put your name in the chat. But that's how I do attendance. Anybody who's not in the chat ends up with a 0 unless, and I wait for them to contact me if they were there. So please, and I'll remind you every week to put your name in the chat. I ran into too many problems in past terms with me taking attendance on my roster here and then students saying they were there and whatever. So that's why I do it on the chat. This is the second slide I have no flexibility with, 0. Okay, cameras must be on at all times when in class. You're not allowed to be in class. And actually, we are encouraged that if students are not on camera and will not turn their camera on, we're encouraged to just remove them from the class. Okay, you're not allowed to be in class if you're driving. I don't care if you're sitting in a car. I've got a few students sitting in a car today or driving, as long as they're a passenger. That's fine. No big deal at all, as long as you're not driving. And then you're not allowed to be logged on to this class while at work. Okay, so you should just be treating this class like an online class. Just plan accordingly. Okay, does anybody have any issues with that? Anybody? No questions so far? So I have lots of flexibility, but with those 2 slides, I don't. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. Seven key signs, Kevin, 7 key steps to success. I'm assuming that you guys are already practicing these because you've already gotten this far. And I want to say up front that this is a hard term. Okay, this is a hard term with peds and with med-surg too. I acknowledge that. I empathize with you, which is why I don't want you to stress about this course. Okay, I know you guys have a lot going on between school commitments, family commitments, work commitments. I get all that. I understand all that. And so I'm trying to make this as least stressful for you as possible. Okay, so I just want you to know up front that this is a tough term. And I know this is a tough week, getting organized and trying to figure out how am I gonna do all this? How am I gonna manage my time between these 3 classes? What do I have to read? What's my homework? Okay. The nice thing about this class is the syllabus is pretty specific. So like, I think it's next week, we go over common childhood ailments. We already give you the pages to read, right? You don't have to go find it in a chapter. We're pretty darn specific. Okay. And if it says, let me give you another tip. If it says, like this week, I think we had chapter 1, right? By the way, I'll send you a recording of this week's content. All right, that's how you're going to get this week's content in a recording. I'll send that to you. All right, but like, for example, I think we had chapter 1. Well, you're probably asking yourself, do I need to know everything in the chapter? No, you don't. What you're going to do is you're going to look at the objectives in the chapter. That's what I want you to know about the chapter, the objectives. All right, so when you read the objectives, go find that information, because that's what we base the study guide, the exams, the lecture on. And as it says at the beginning of every chapter, at the end of this chapter, you should be able to, whatever the verb is with the objective, discuss, explain, whatever it is. Okay, so that's where I would ask you to start. Okay, start with the objectives. Okay, and I may break us out. One of our group activities may be breaking out in groups at the beginning of the class. And if I have 6 groups and the 6 objectives, I'm going to assign an objective to each group. I'm going to give you 10 minutes, right? You got your group come up with the answers to the objective and then come back and tell us all what it is, because that's what we need to know. Okay, I want this to be interactive. Class is not going to be me talking for 2 hours. Nope. I don't want to listen to myself talk for 2 hours, and you don't want to listen to me talk for 2 hours. I'd rather half of it be interactive so that you learn something. You guys all have, I know I'm jumping off in different tangents, but I'm just talking as I'm thinking and just blurting it out. You guys all have student resources to NCLEX questions, right? Practice questions, right? Everybody know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
you
ma'am.
guys, I know, are doing some practice questions every week, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You should be. You should be. And I'm going to bring, I have a whole instructor bank of practice questions too. So I'll bring those to you as well at class, and we'll go through those. Okay, that's how you learn. You don't learn by listening to me for 2 hours. We gotta kind of walk the walk. All right, so you do your practice questions and I'll bring you my practice questions. Okay, because it's all about practice, practice, practice. The other thing I'll say is I am a firm believer in rationales. If you can get a hold of rationales, that is one of the greatest ways to learn. Those are in case studies. Those are in your NCLEX. Those are in your all your reviews. rationales are key. So for example, I'll just say this now, we'll get to it, but your NCLEX questions. Okay, if you submit to me a 30 for an NCLEX score, you probably didn't learn a lot. Okay, if you submit a 50, you probably did. So what I do, and there's a slide about this, is I don't know if you know this, but NCLEX, you can do it as many times as you want. You just can submit one. So say you do an NCLEX and you start with a 20. Go back and read all the rationales they just spit out to you, just like you do in Hessy remediation. I mean, how helpful, I know it was a pain, I get it. How helpful was Hessy remediation? Was it helpful?
Yeah, I think it was helpful.
I mean, that's what it was. It was intended to give you the rationales for why you got questions wrong. If you get something wrong, you should probably want to understand why you got it wrong, right? And understand why the right answer is the right answer, right? Same with the NCLEX. If you get a 20, don't submit me a 20, because I'm going to shoot it right back to you and say, I've reopened the assignment, do it again if you want. But if you submit to me, if you do a 20 and you say, no, I'm not submitting that, go through all the rationales, take it again. And then maybe the next time you get a 40, maybe that's still not good enough for you. Go through the few rationales that you missed and then do it again. So you get up to a 50 or high 40s and then submit it. And that way I know that you have learned from that assignment. I don't think you've learned much if you're in the 20s and 30s. So what I do, you can only submit it once. You can do it as many times as possible, but you can only submit it once. If you submit me below 40, I'm going to put a little comment in the section for your NCLEX and say, hey, Brianna, I'm just looking at you, Brianna, so that's why I'm saying your name. Brianna, I have reopened the assignment for you. If you would like to try for a higher score, feel free. If you want to do it, fine. If you don't want to do it, fine. So, okay. That's my spiel on rationales. And if you do another one, if you do exam review, if you do exam reviews with me after your exams, we go through rationales. We go through incorrect questions and we go through rationales. Okay. Prepare and expectations of online. You guys know all this. Here's the objectives part. For this term, you're expected to do homework, complete the readings as assigned. Readings must be done prior to lecture. I would appreciate it if you would either do your readings or at least have an idea of what we're going to be covering. It pains me when students come that and I'll ask, do you guys even know what we're covering today? And nobody even knows what we're covering today. So that's kind of a bummer for me, but if you could just kind of preview the information I send you. I know we don't meet till Friday and I send you the information over the weekend. So I know there's a long pause there. So in order to be successful in class, it's expected that you read the objectives and be prepared to discuss the objectives as they relate to your concepts. Okay, so for example, look at the objectives at the beginning of the chapter, then you look up the answers. Okay, you'll find your answers in your readings. We don't have PowerPoints yet. I do, but I don't have them organized yet. I'm not going to, if you have to look at chapter 2, pages 120 to 122, that's part of your reading, I'm not sending you the whole PowerPoint for chapter 2. It's way too much information. Does that make sense? I need to get it broken down where the PowerPoint slides match the content. If you get like chapter 1, I probably will send you the PowerPoint for fundamentals, chapter 1, when I send the recording, but that's it. The rest of the readings are not full chapters. And PowerPoints are essentially a summary of your chapter, right? You all have done this day 1, log it in. I suggest you print out the syllabus. The live sessions are mandatory. If you're not going to be at class, just let me know. Let me know. You will get a recording after this. You'll get a recording about you'll get the lecture recording within a couple hours, or today I'll send it out to you. Okay. Exam review sessions. I'm working on a master review session to send you guys. We have 3 professors, and each of us will do a live exam review outside of class the weekend before the exam. Okay, so probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday. One Friday, one Saturday, one Sunday. We're working on that schedule now. And I'm trying to get the schedule together for all 3 exams and the Hessy, so that you have this schedule for the whole term and you can plan accordingly. It's known that down here at the bottom, students that participate in live exam reviews have higher test scores, 20%, 20 points higher. I see it every term. Okay, you will get recordings, so you'll have the opportunity to attend 3 sessions, and then each of us will share the recordings with each other, and so we'll post those as well. So you have 3 recordings to listen to as well. Okay, we try and get it out ahead of time so that you can plan maybe work schedules or family schedules to try and attend one. And then tutoring, I'm always available to tutor. The one thing I will ask when we tutor is that you be specific on what is it that you don't understand? What about week 1 content did you not understand? What about week 2 content? Tutoring's not just to review class, right? It's to review what you didn't understand. Okay, but I'm happy to do tutoring with anybody. Okay, and then after the exams, if you score below 78, I highly encourage you to set up a time to meet with me to review the exam. If you score above 78 and you still want to meet to review the incorrect questions, that's fine. I have students in the 90s that want to review the 2 or 3 questions they got wrong. So perfectly happy to do that. Okay, here's a summary of, this is in your syllabus, but here's the KGAs. This should be in yellow too. I don't want to mess it up, but see, I'm going to mess it up. Not touching that. So KGA, pretend quizzes is in yellow. So you got your 3 unit exams, 55%, your quizzes, there's 5 of them, so they're 1% each. And then you've got your Hessy, which is 20. So that equals 80. And then all these other things equal 20. All your homework stuff, your community research project, your NCLEX, case studies, Hessy Prep. I'm working on the Hessy Prep. You do have a link to this. Remind me to show you this in module 1. You already have a link to pull up your Hessy Prep. I'm working on updating that from this past Hessy. I don't know what the questions are in the Hessy, but I do know the topics. Okay, I put together the 3 exams, but I don't put together the Hessy. Hessy is like NCLEX, it comes from a bank. Okay, but I do know the topics that were asked about. And so this, just going into it now. So in week 1, we're probably going to, is it in week 2? No, we're probably going to have to go to week 2 and week 9. Okay, so everybody make a note on this. This is not Doodle week 9, but it's here. Okay, so here's the document. Here's the current document. This is what it looks like. I'm going to get this to you by the end of the weekend, because this I want you to be working on the whole term. This is called Hessy Prep. Okay, and this is what you're going to be using to prepare for your Hessy, and I want you to be using it the whole term. And this is another activity I've thought about doing during our hour of class time, right? So these are all topics. Whoops. These are all topics that are covered on the Hessy. But based on last term's Hessy, there are some of these topics that were not covered. So I'm going to replace the topics that were covered in here. Does that make sense? So you guys will have an accurate list of what topics were covered on the Hessy. Does this make sense? So you'll have this by the end of the weekend, I promise. And then this is something, it's broken up into different sections bioterrorism, disaster, epidemiology. These are all things we're going to cover during the term, right? So this essentially you could fill out every week or every two. And what I might do as part of our activity in the second half of class is put you in groups and have everybody pull up their Hessy review, and let's start filling out these boxes, right? As the term goes. Does that make sense? So that when it comes to week 8 and you have this 6-page Hessy review and you start filling out what this is, it's not going to take you 12 hours to do. And that's what happened last term. A lot of people didn't even start this until week 8. And then it was umpteen hours trying to get it done. But these are all topics that we cover all through the term. So you might as well be filling this out as we go. And one student last term used this for her notes, her lecture notes. And as we got to a topic, she just wrote in there what we talked about. So the hope is that this assignment will be completed in week 9, right? And you just have to turn it in if you've been keeping up with it. And it's a good place to do notes. So what do you think about that for an activity? You're breaking up and starting to fill it out.
It's a good idea.
Yes,
I think
yes.
it's a good idea.
It's a good,
Yeah, I
good
think it'll
idea.
help a lot.
That way I know it's getting done. And you're all not stressed in week 8 going, dang, I have a 8-10 page document to fill out, and we covered this whole thing through the term. Just trying to help you organize. So that's another idea I have for an activity of let's get this done during the week we're doing it. So don't anybody print out that Hessy review in week 9. All right. I want to update it because like I said, I have last 2 weeks ago, I have their Hessy, not the questions, but the topics. And actually I got them from your remediations, because when you do your remediations, it gives you the topics that you missed, right? So that's where I'm compiling this from. Oh, you didn't take community Hessy. So I have that community Hessy from 2 weeks ago, right? And so I have all the remediation all my students did. So I already know what topics are on there. So I'd like to provide you guys with a heads up on those topics and get that Hessy Prep document up to date, because that's worth 5% of your grade. And I know my students last term spent hours and hours on it because they waited to the last minute. Okay. Okie dokie. We're getting close here. Let's see, where am I? So here's all our assignments. I'll turn the homework grades on in like week 6, just so you can see how your homework is affecting your grade. Okay. Honestly, I don't usually have maybe 1 or 2 students, but I don't really have a problem with homework. I keep on you guys to get things done because the last thing I need you to be is what we call a homework fail. What's a homework fail?
When
When
you're
they don't
eager
do
at
their homework.
assignments.
So,
Brianna, that's right, when you don't do it, but what happens? What
It
happens?
drops you. It
You
drops you
fail
at
as
least.
a result of it.
Yeah, let's say you have an 82 from your KGAs and you haven't done any homework. You'll fail the class. So when we put the 20% of homework in, it will go down below a 78 and fail. Don't be a homework fail, especially in this class. Don't. Okay. You guys already know this rule. You got to be at a 78, right, before your homework gets added in. ExamSoft, we're still using ExamSoft. I don't know if you guys have any exams in Peds or MedSurg in weeks 2 or 3. I have no idea. Our first exam is week 4. I will send you an email over that weekend before your exam telling you that I've downloaded your exams are ready to be downloaded. Okay. You got to download your exam as previous terms before you come to class. Probably easier once you get that email and get on there, just go download it. Yeah, that way you don't have to think about it all week and you're not scrambling on Friday afternoon to download it. If you don't have any exams the first 3 weeks, and excuse me, Could somebody mute themselves, please? There's a lot of background noise. Tawanda, could you turn on your camera, please? And Erica, please turn on your camera.
My camera is on.
Oh, wait, I have two of you?
And so is mine.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I'm having a little technical issue, so I got like my
I
computer
have
and my
both you
phone up.
guys. Okay, I have,
Yeah.
are you guys on from two different devices? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we're not related.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Okay. So my suggestion would be go back and check your ExamSoft account. Go back and check it, make sure it's still working, nothing's going on. So at the day of the exam, you're ready to roll. All right, and we'll go through this on exam day, but I run kind of a tight ship with exams. Once I give you the passcode, everybody's on mute. Okay, nobody comes off with their microphone to say they have a question. We do it through chat, you do it through calling me, whatever. But once we get going with the exams, that's it. That's it. There's no interruptions. And I had to learn that the hard way when I just had to learn it the hard way. So that's what I do. I give you guys the ExamSoft technical number and my phone number before we start the exam. And that's how we communicate. Okay. We know we can only take it once, right? You can't take it a second time. And then anybody that has accommodations, please let me know. A couple of things. If you have accommodations from a previous term, please let me know or reach out to me. If you are repeating a class, whether it's community or if you're considered repeat, let me know that too. Okay, just shoot me an email. Okay, exams are scheduled during the class time. This class time, you'll be taking exams during here. If for some reason there's an emergency and something's going on, communicate with me. We'll figure something out. Okay. This has been happening a lot the last 2 terms, and it's kind of cool actually. You feel free to take your exam on your campus with a proctor. Like for example, last term, I know I have Centerville students. I think all of my Centerville students took the exam in class, on campus with a proctor, one of your instructors. She proctored the whole group of Centerville students. It worked out great. I have no problem with that. You have to find a proctor. You guys have to let me know ahead of time who that proctor is, because I have to communicate with them and get them the passcodes and all that. So if you guys have a group and on the same campus and you all want to take your exam on campus instead of online with one of your instructors, perfect. No problem at all. You guys all know the drill for exams to be proctored. Missing exams, go with the late policy. If you don't show up, it's an automatic 0. If you let me know, we're trying to work something out, it will be a 10% deduction. Okay, if it's due to an emergency, then you're going to have to get some documentation and you'll have it up to a week to take it without any penalty. Okay, so review this slide number 22. Okay, I can't do anything after you've taken the exam. Okay, you can't retake the exam. Okay, if you're having issues that prevent you from being successful on an exam, you got to let me know before the exam. You have to. I'll work with you, but I can't do anything after. Okay, and as we say, it requires good communication. Contact me if you have any problems or if you would just like some additional help. Planning your time, you can review that on your own. Whatever organizational skills you use that's working for you, that's great. This is just an example of a calendar. This is a term that you really have to have your time management and organizational skills at top level. Okay, you have a lot going on this term. All right, so if anybody wants to chat about time management strategies, about organizational strategies, I'm happy to talk about that with you. Okay, but this is a term that needs to be stepped up. Late work, we already went over that. NCLEX questions, you guys know how to do that. And just make sure you do a bank of 50. All right, not 2 25s or 5 10s. All right, because if you do a bank of 50, it gives you a compilation of all the categories you're requesting. If you break them up into different groups, it doesn't give you that. Okay, you all know how to access NCLEX questions. I already went through this slide. You can repeat the questions as many times as you want, but only submit it once. Okay, so we already went through that. I can't accept screenshots. Nobody can accept screenshots. Screenshots are not accepted at Fortis. You need to access every one of your assignments through your module, whether it's a case study, an NCLEX, a discussion question. Everything you access has to be through the link in your module. Otherwise, like for example, if you go into evolve.com to pull up your NCLEX questions, you're not going to be able to submit anything. You're going to have to send me a screenshot and then I can't accept it and you end up with a 0. Okay. Hessy case studies, there's links to them in your modules. Don't worry about sending me anything. They populate in your gradebook. Okay, you have to access through the access them through the Canvas course module. Okay. Your grades transfer.
I have a question. I think
Yeah.
I may have missed something.
Mhm.
You said that we cannot screenshot or send anything. So how do we send our NCLEX? We email them?
You
or-
upload them as a PDF
Oh, okay. Okay.
right within the module. It's a PDF, upload PDF.
Okay.
Have you done NCLEX questions before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some of the
same.
teachers accepted screenshots. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah, no more screenshots. Nope.
And we don't have to turn in our case studies. You get our case studies automatically when they're finished.
Yep. And that was in that slide right here. Case studies must be accessed right here. Grades will transfer to gradebook automatically with the case studies. Writing papers. I sent you guys early in the week a nice little resource for APA format. You should be familiar with APA format at this point, right? The other things I'm going to send you this week, I didn't want to bombard you, is I have several test taking tutorials that I pull off my instructor site in Elsevier. How to read a question, how to pull out important words or phrases from a question, how to eliminate answers right off the bat. So I'm going to send you a couple of tutorials that I hope help you. You can read them, you can use them, you don't have to use them. I'm also going to send you a couple of math resources that I have. They're kind of little cheat sheets of how to do formulas, the simple formulas, how to do conversions. So I'm going to send you those this week as well. Okay. Again, they're for your help if you want it. You don't have to open them if you don't want to. Always look at rubrics. All right, that's how I grade. All right, so your discussion question, look at the rubric. Your group paper, you gotta look at a rubric. Your vulnerable populations paper that's due in week 9, you gotta look at the rubric. Okay. APA, taking exams. You all know this. Exams are timed. You're going to complete them once. If you start it, you must complete it. You do not get another opportunity. And then this term, I think it started last term, that you're using whiteboards, erasable whiteboards and markers for your exam. You guys all know about this?
Yes.
Paper and computer are not allowed during the exams. Anybody not familiar with that?
Can you
I
repeat that
wasn't aware
again?
of that.
Yeah, I never heard that before.
I never heard it too.
Okay, so you must have an erasable whiteboard and marker for your exams. So if you're not aware of this, I would reach out to your campus. I don't know if they're providing them from students or if you have to buy them. I have no idea. All I'm passing on is that for exams now, it's required that you have the whiteboard and the markers, no more pens and paper. Okay.
So can I ask a question? The whiteboards are used, what are they used for as far as with the exam? We never
Well,
had to do that.
oh, you don't have to use it if you don't want to, but like for
Okay.
math questions, people
Okay.
like to scribble down math questions. And one of the things that I like to do when I tutor students, and I always encourage them, if you've got your, well, now it's a whiteboard, if you find a word in a question like greatest, most, last, first, write it down on your whiteboard, just so
Okay.
you know you pulled that word out. Does that make sense? So I have many
Yeah.
different
So
reasons.
it's just a little whiteboard.
Yeah, what I've seen
Okay.
students have, it's like a little 8x10 whiteboard with a little
Okay.
marker.
I got one from the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's new. That started transitioning last term because I had students like with exams 2 and 3 last term hold me up whiteboards. I'm going, that's new. Why are they holding up whiteboards? Then I, excuse me, figured out why. So that's a new standard. Okay, I think we're just about done here. Specialty exams are Hessy. It's given one attempt. Just like last term's Hessy, you're assigned a date, you have to do your remediation, yada, yada, right? We'll talk about that as it gets closer. Right? So that's Hessy, or that's the PowerPoint. All right, let me find my,
We should be using our foundations book for this and
Yeah.
med surge book and foundations.
you have 3 books to use right here. Right here.
I can't see your screen. It's just low and then low.
Oh, can anybody see my screen?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
It's blurry though. It's blurry.
Is that better?
It's
Yes,
blurry.
ma'am.
Yes.
All right, let me stop share and share again. Let's try this again.
Fundamentals, med
So it was
surg,
the
and, maternity.
fundamentals, maternity, and your med surg books, y'all.
Yep. And then, can you see that?
Okay, that's better. Yes.
There's your 3 books. And you should already have all these 3 books. They're from your other classes. Right? Anybody, and make sure you have the right edition.
Yes.
If I have any re-entry students that have taken a break and coming back in, that may be an issue with the edition that they have. So you got to let me know. Okay. So what do we want to know for your, I would, so what does this course do? This course provides you with an introduction to promoting health and wellness with individuals in diverse community-based settings. Key concepts covered in this course will include wellness promotion, independence and interdependence, discharge planning, chronic illness, HIV, different environments for healthcare, outpatient clinics, homes, diagnosis-based care centers. Okay, and then we do a community project, which provides you an opportunity to examine a population in your community. So that's what the healthy, it's called in this class, Community Resource Project is in week 9. Okay, it's a PowerPoint. You can go in week 9 to read about it. This is something you don't start in week 8. And I'll bring this up again, but you try and start the next couple of weeks. And the other thing too to remember, guys, is that in week 9, think about this. If you can at all start getting stuff done ahead of time. Your exams are in week 4, 7, and 10. Okay. And this is just suggestion. 4, 7, and 10. In week 9, your Hessy review is due. That big 10-page document is due in week 9. It's worth 5% of your grade. In week 10, you have an exam. Okay. And your vulnerable populations, I think, is due, or your community resource. Let's look. Oh, shoot. Let's look and see when that's due. Hang tight. I'm not very techie, so I just accidentally went out. All right, let's see when this is due. I think it's due in week 10. Yeah. Okay. So in week 9, you have your Hessy Prep review, which is a big project. In week 10, you have an exam, plus you have your community research paper due. And then week 11, you have your Hessy and an NCLEX. Okay, so weeks 9 and 10, your homework is worth 10%. The Hessy Prep is 5, and the community resource paper is 5. So do not wait till week 8 to start working on all this. You have time at the beginning.
When do you think you'll have the week 9 assignment revised so that we're able to print it out prior to Friday?
By Sunday. I'm hoping by Sunday. I'm hoping to have you the exam 1 study guide, the review sessions, and the Hessy Prep. I'm hoping to have that to you all by Sunday. And the recording for this week's content. Okay? Makes sense? So don't get bogged down at the end of the term with all this stuff. It's a lot. 9, 10, and 11 are heavy weeks. Take the opportunity to, and vulnerable populations, right? We call it vulnerable populations assignment in the RN program. In this program, we call it community resource. It's essentially the same. You can go into week 9 and look at it. It's pretty simple. It's a PowerPoint, 8 or 10 slides. You pick a vulnerable population in your community. So for example, what's your discussion about this week?
Vulnerable populations.
Right. So what I suggested last term was take the vulnerable population that you just did your discussion on and expand on that and start putting that into a PowerPoint. And then you've already started your vulnerable populations or community resource assignment. It's the same thing. Community resource assignment is a vulnerable population. Okay. Go into week 9 and look at the PowerPoint. You need to give demographics. And remember, this is a population in your zip code. Okay, so let's say you just did your discussion question on homelessness. Now just make it more specific to your zip code. And there's, I think, 6 things that you need to put in the PowerPoints. It's like demographics. What are the health risks? What are the resources in your community for homeless? What are the gaps? What are the service gaps? What don't you have? What are some primary, secondary, tertiary interventions for those? It's super easy. But if you wait till the last minute, it's super hard. If you wait till the last minute to do your Hessy Prep, it's super hard. So you really do have the opportunity for your Hessy Prep to be working all term on it. You know, it's like when you go back and review your notes after a lecture, go back and review your notes and fill out the Hessy Prep. And same with your vulnerable populations. Start with what you just did in your discussion, if that's what you want to do. So I'm just trying to help you out. I don't want to get to week 8 and everybody be flipping out. Too much to do. It is. Okay. All right, so there's your vulnerable populations. You have to go to week 10. Sorry. See, you know what we do here is we call it a vulnerable populations project. So I'm going to have to change that on the syllabus. So it's the community resource project. So they're used interchangeably. Okay, select a vulnerable population in your community. Do a windshield survey. Anybody know what a windshield survey is? Windshield survey is exactly, we use that term in the community all the time. Windshield survey is exactly what it says. You drive around and observe, whether it's by bus, by your bike, walking around in your car, right? You do a windshield survey in your community. And here it is. Windshield survey is completed by observing the population, looking out of the window of your car or bus, riding a bike to identify a vulnerable population. Now, you may already know what vulnerable population in your community you want to learn more about. Okay, conduct research on your population via the internet or calling or visiting your local health. I've had students that do homelessness and they go down to a homeless shelter and interview homeless clients. It's totally up to you what you want to do. And then you develop a PowerPoint presentation to communicate your observations and research. Okay. The other thing, just to give you a heads up, is in week 7, when you do your group research project on infectious, all assigned your each group or infectious disease, we spend part of week 8. Week 8's activity will be you guys presenting your infectious disease project to the class. It was really cool last term. Really enjoyed it. Okay. Let's see, what else do I want to go over with you? I would go through your modules week by week. I mean, week 1. Oh, I know what I wanted to. So in your readings, okay? So week 1 overview. I'm just going through your module. When it says, okay, this is pretty self-explanatory. When it says DeWitt's fundamentals, that's easy. Chapter 1 in fundamentals. In the Med-Surg book, you're asked to look at 1 page. But when it has these other bullets, like introduction to community nursing, levels of healthcare, in your syllabus, it says it a different way. I just want to show you so you're not confused. So if you go to your syllabus, which we started to go through, if you go to the bottom of your syllabus, there's all this, we already went through this. There's all your grade, what you're going to be graded on. If you go down here, we start in the weeks. Okay. So under readings, here's your DeWitt, chapter 1. Here's your community, page 123. When it says C Canvas course, okay, that's the same as in your reading. Okay, what it should say up here, and I'll put that in there, but it should say C Canvas course. And there it has the 4 bullets, just like it says here, C Canvas course. Okay, I'm going in the next week. It says C Canvas course. Are you seeing that? It's not your book. When it says C Canvas course, right here, C Canvas course. Okay, that's what it's going to, what those are is you have your readings, and when it says C Canvas course, you're going to have teaching sheets like this in your module. Okay, so for week 1, you have 4 topics, C Canvas course. So you have 4 topics that are going to be right in your module. Introduction to community nursing, levels of health prevention, healthy people 2030, introduction to vulnerability. So here's your week 1 module. First one, community, public introduction to community. Next one is levels of healthcare prevention. They're right in here. So when it says C Canvas course, these cheat sheets are right in your module. Make sense? So I don't want to confuse you. Readings are separated out into the books, and then if it says C Canvas course, those little education sheets are right in your module. Make sense? So the only thing missing here is this should say, there should be a space here, and it should say up above introduction to community nursing, it should say C Canvas course, like it does in the syllabus. Does that make sense? And when I send you guys out a weekly announcement on the weekend, it's just a summary of this. It's not all new information, it's a summary. I just summarize it for you so you guys know what we're doing. Okay? But if you go back through your module, it's all in there. Okay? You guys with me?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. So let's see what we got going on for next week. And the recording I'm going to send to you is going to cover week 1 in your fundamentals, page 123 in your med-surg, and it's going to go through these 4 topics. That's it. And next week, what do you guys got going on next week? So this week you had a discussion on vulnerable populations. We're going to do our attestation here in a sec. So what do you got going for next week? So let's see, week 2 readings for next week. You have PEDS. This is where we go over common childhood ailments. Okay, and we give you specific, it's in the PEDS textbook, you got specific pages. So if 605 to 612 is chapter 10, you don't have to read the whole chapter 10. I just want you to read those pages. Okay, and then you got a little bit of reading in fundamentals. This is kind of big, chapter 11 and 12, but where do you start? Start with your objectives. You don't need to read this chapter from start to finish, the beginning of 11 to the end of 12. Go through and look at your objectives and then find where that information is. Got it? And then you have 1 page to read in your med-surg book. And again, this should say, right here, it should say C can't, right under community care, it should say C Canvas course, right? So that means you're going to have 2 sheets. You should expect to see 2 sheets on school nursing and lead exposure. Okay, and here they are. Okay, so there's your 2 Canvas course sheets. So again, I'm just trying to help you stay organized. Everything's connected. Everything's connected. Your readings are connected to the lecture. It's connected to the study guide. It's connected to the exam, your exams. It's all connected. So next week, what do you have to do? Next week, you have another discussion question, which means when is your initial response due? Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
And it says it right in here, right? Just because we don't have class till Friday, see, your initial post is due by Wednesday night. It's in here. Okay, and you pick some childhood ailments and you describe signs and symptoms, whatever else. Okay. So what else do we got going on week 2? Discussion question, attestation, and quiz. Do not do the quizzes before class. Okay, wait, I haven't locked them. I think another instructor locked hers so their students couldn't do them before class. You can only submit it once. Don't do it before class. Quizzes are supposed to be done after class. So like next week, what I'd like to do is do the quiz together as a group. So everybody gets a 10. Okay, maybe break you out in a couple of groups and I don't know, 5 groups, everybody does 2 quiz questions. And then we come back and you give us all the answers. Okay? Don't do your quizzes before. It's just kind of a pain because if you want to resubmit it, then you have to submit it to me in a Word document and yada, yada. So I think we'll do that next week. And then we don't have to look ahead to week 3, but in week 3, we start covering, you have all these Canvas sheets, migrant farm workers, rural, homeless, poverty, and then you have your readings. I think that's all we have. Oh, so all we have in week 3, we don't even have any book reading in week 3. We just have these 4 cheat sheets, not cheat sheets, but education sheets in your module. Migrant farm workers, rural, homelessness, poverty. Okay? That's it. That's all I got. Let's do our attestation. Everybody bring up their week 1 attestation. And there are some questions to answer in here, so we have to answer them. Unfortunately, questions 1 and 4 are the same, but we got to fill it out. I think it's whose class did you attend on what day? Right, so question 1 is Marvel 10-7. Are you all seeing that? And if you can't do it right now, that's fine. Just you gotta do it within 24 hours. I like to do it now so that it gets submitted and you don't have to think about it. Okay, so is everybody done with question 1?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out how to get to,
Go into your module,
okay.
click on week 1 attestation. And to the right, it should say 4 questions in pink, does it?
Let's see.
For those of you that just answered question 1, just jump down to question 4 and put the same thing in. I don't know why it's like that. I can't change it now that it's already been posted. So question 4, put in the same thing. And then what's question 2?
What is the policy for late work and percentage deduction if not turned in on time?
Great. What's the first thing?
You have to have written approval,
Prior approval, number 1.
and then 1 to 7 days is 10% off.
And then after 8 is 0.
Yep. That's your answer, number 2. I put that in there. And what's the third question? Is it primary care?
Duties of a community health nurse.
Oh, okay. What do we say our class is going to be about? Actually, I want to read you something. Let's read the beginning part of this because it tells you, here's your answer. Nope, I want to go to the home page here. Here's what our class is about, right here. Course provides a framework to support your practice in community-based settings. Now that you have demonstrated success and competence in the knowledge and skills to care for your patients, it's time to learn how to incorporate this knowledge, newly learned skills, and the use of the nursing process into your role as an LPN, LVN, who promotes community wellness to individuals or families or diverse community-based settings. So it's pulling it all together. Throughout the course, you'll be introduced to explore the role of your LPN, LVN in the following manners. Here's your roles. Here's your answer. Collaboration with the healthcare team, right? So when your question 3 asks, what's the role of the community nurse? You're going to be collaborating with a healthcare team. You're going to be doing wellness promotion. You're going to be providing healthcare in environments such as home, clinics, diagnostic-based centers. You're going to be caring for people with chronic illness. You're going to be caring for clients diagnosed with HIV. And you're certainly going to be providing healthcare for vulnerable populations.
Okay, we need to put all of that?
No, not all of it. Just a few things. No. So the big question that some of you probably have is, how does this course fit into your LPN, LVN program? All right. Okay, we're still going to be using the nursing process, your ADPI, to apply critical thinking and problem solving skills. Right? This will give you the resources needed to promote health and wellness in the community and provide safe and effective care to your clients, whoever they are. So if you're asking why is community part of this program, that last paragraph answers it. I always like to try and give back time. I call it the gift of time. And that's for you to catch up. I usually try and do a little bit more than 15 minutes, but that's for you to try and catch up on anything that you need to catch up with community or get ready to go to PEDS. Make sure everybody hits submit when you're done. Then you don't have to think about this. And if you're on target already with community and you've done your discussion question, maybe take the next couple of minutes and go in and do a response to your peers. I don't know, and then you're done. Right? And you're done for the weekend. So that's all I have. What do you think? Are you less stressed? You feel more organized? You feel more informed? What? How you feeling after 2 hours?
More informed.
Definitely more informed.
Right, more informed.
With this class.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Just sit back and enjoy it. It's how to pull everything together in the community. Okay, so I'll stay on for questions. I'm going to actually stop recording. Please make sure you're in the chat. I'll stay on if anybody has any